This is a Steam Greenlight trailer for HYRULE Total War, which confuses me. I had no idea that Nintendo were getting into PC publishing. I mean, they are predominantly and have always been a console-based company. I know they were talking about moving into iOS stuff, but Steam? Has a Nintendo game ever been on Steam? I don't think so. So this really does shock me to my core. I mean, there's something about it that doesn't look, shall we say, wholly professional. Almost as if it's a mod of an existing game, but that can't be true. Because there's no way this would go on Steam without official support. I mean, nobody would be so silly as to put this on Steam Greenlight and expect to get it up there without Nintendo knowing about it. Without Nintendo officially doing it, which again surprises me because you'd think Nintendo would be able to bypass the whole Greenlight process. Although I suppose if they've never published anything on Steam before, maybe Valve look at Nintendo and think, well, you haven't proven yourself in the PC market, so we need to see if people want HYRULE Total War. Which is another thing entirely, because Sega, I know, do put things on Steam, so where's Sega's say in all this? They currently have the whole Total War thing under lock and key. I don't know if Creative Assembly have anything to say about this. Really, it's a whole mass of legal confusion. Because, like I said, this has to be official. Holy shit! He punched Zelda in the face. I'm gonna stop the sarcasm now. There's only so long you can keep that going, and quite frankly, I was surprised I kept it going for as long as I did. So instead, we're just going to look at it because it does look quite cool. Let's get that out of the way right now. And many of you will have already heard of HYRULE Total War because it's not exactly an obscure thing. It's not actually an unknown entity. So here's the about page for it. The description is just one massive paragraph. But it does explain that it's a conversion for Medieval 2 Total War, which, again, many people will have known about because HYRULE Total War is quite famous. In fact, some people say it was the inspiration for Hyrule Warriors, which is, of course, one of my favourite games. But the real confusing element that comes into this is because obviously this has not been done with Nintendo's permission. Obviously, there's no way this will get onto the Steam front page, okay? I don't know why they thought that they'd do this, but they did. But the thing that gets me is it's uploaded by someone called Wolfdampf. Now, Wolfdampf claims to be an aspiring game developer who's planning to put out their first game soon. Now, Wolfdampf did not make this at all. A developer called Undying Nephilim actually made HYRULE Total War. I'm going to throw up the link to their Patreon page here, because why not? Spread the word, share the wealth. And the odd thing is that our other fella here, Wolfdampf, claims that they have permission from Undying Nephilim to put this up on the page. Now, I'm not going to call that into question. I just find I find this whole thing an odd situation. And I don't know what because I feel like if Undying Nephilim felt like they'd get away with putting HYRULE Total War on Steam and not getting the famously copyright-happy Nintendo breathing down their neck, they'd have done it themselves. This has happened several times. We've done this several times in the series, where some person who has nothing to do with the game, almost always some sort of mod, be it a Mugen thing or some other modification, they got nothing to do with the original game, and yet they upload it on that person's behalf. Sometimes claiming to have permission, sometimes sidestepping the idea of permission altogether. And I guess I don't know what they get out of that. Maybe Wolfdampf just wants to see it on Steam, and I hate to break Wolfdampf's heart, but it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Without official support, it's not gonna make it onto Steam, even if it's being given away for free, as you say. Now, giving away something for free does not, unfortunately, free you from copyright infringement. And I say this as someone who's had to obviously deal with a lot of issues with copyright infringement over the years. As someone who's been on the bad end of that, I've got to tell you, this ain't gonna happen. The mod looks lovely. Obviously it's a popular mod, people really like it. Nintendo, it would seem, is quite possibly aware of the whole thing, more than likely aware of the mod, but hasn't stepped in. But shit like this runs the risk of making companies step in once you try and do something like this. This actually being on Steam Greenlight is probably dangerous for the mod, and could set bad precedents for the future if a company did have to step in and deal with this. So maybe don't do this, is my advice. Maybe don't try and put mods based on existing IP that you don't own onto Steam through Greenlight, because A, it's a total waste of your time, and B, if somehow against all the odds it got up there onto the front page of Steam, onto the store, it wouldn't stay there for long and it could get you in trouble. So just don't. People know where to get the mods, okay? They don't need your help. Holy shit, he punched Zelda in the face!